Mortgage options for cabin crew. Now, it's very important to know that most of the cabin crew are expats, and expats are usually given 80% finance from the bank. So you need to have at least 30%. Why I'm saying 30% is because 20% is going to be the down payment, and the other extra costs could rise up to 10%. So you need to have at least 30% saved as down payment.
Let me mention something very quickly. 80% financing is on the first property, 60% the bank will lend you on the second property, 50% on your third, fourth, and there is no limit. So as long as you have the down payment, you can buy as many properties as you can. But let's talk about that in some other webinar for second, third, fourth, fifth. Just so you know, the first property, the bank will lend you 80% as of now.
Great. All right. So again, for the mortgage crew, the mortgage options for crew, some banks will ask you to have salary transferred to them, and the other banks will they will not mind about that. It's very important to note that if a bank asks you to transfer salary, you might get a better interest rate in some cases than if you keep your current bank for your salary. Mortgage eligibility, the minimum salary is 10,000 to 15,000. We've seen an increase or a change, especially with some banks where they're requiring at least 15,000 as a salary within these times. But as a standard practice, 10,000 is the minimum salary that you're required to have to be able to be eligible for a mortgage.
And also very important, even for new cabin crew, you might just have landed in Dubai and you say, I don't know, this is not for me. Just understand the process, because maybe after 6 months, when your probation also ends, you can be already eligible to buy a property. Now there is changes in the banks, and these requirements really are moving. You know, sometimes they ask for something more, or they don't calculate now their flying hours, or they don't calculate the leave out allowance. It's really important that you are updated and you get to know in the moment how much each bank is asking as a minimum, and also what you need to present. But as a rule of thumb, I would say try to have as less liabilities as possible. Because if you have a personal loan, if you're buying a car with a loan as well from the bank, this will affect eventually your eligibility to buy a property, and you might need to close those loans before you even apply for a pre-approval.